Principles are so important, and an ethical leader prioritizes principles over personal gain, and his or her value continuously enhanced over time.
If you think that you're going to run this on a rules basis, you'll find consistently the rules are insufficient. You've got to ultimately rely on the principles.
So the whole point of the board meeting is to deliberate on and to decide on matters within the ambit or the scope of the board. So Section 73 goes further to talk about how resolutions and voting is done. Each director has one vote, and a majority of votes in favor of a resolution means that the matter is approved.
When you damage a relationship, you are unethical. If you damage a relationship with your employer, with your shareholder, with your stakeholder, with a citizen of the country, or with the government, you are being unethical. Because you can do lots of things which is legal, but it's unethical.
If you are competent and not ethical, chances are you will commit sooner rather than later one of the sins that will actually nullify your competence. Doing right and avoiding wrong is all very well, but unless your leadership, your corporate governance rests on those two, you're not going to be a good leader.
Best thing to protect yourself is to let people know who you are. Disclosure is critical. Otherwise, you become a prisoner, a permanent prisoner.
People perceive, even if it's not the case, that your private friend may gain advantages because of the friendship that they have. If they became friends of mine, I would be harsher on them just to prove that that's not the case, which is unfair.
The importance of this program would be to kind of shape the future leaders and equipping us right now with the right corporate governance and ethical leadership steps on what to do. I feel like going forward in the future and in our leadership journeys, this is a good step.
With corporate governance, there's an opportunity for us to do things better in such a way that we build up and we create a system that continuously builds and uplifts.
I think we learned a lot about corporate governance, the creation of sustainable businesses that are stable, that will last generations, that we can hand over to our children for the future as well.
For us, it's easy to be interested in directorship without really understanding the consequences of that decision and how it affects not only the companies, how it affects societies, how it affects the economy of the country, the global politics and the global trade.
We certainly have a leadership gap in our continent, in our country, and this is an opportunity for young aspiring leaders, but also for seasoned leaders to start engaging on principles of leadership that will address this gap and hopefully have a positive impact on our future prospects as a country and a continent.
This is a season and a time where all leaders must step up. My message to our leaders is that we need to all step up. Doesn't matter what leadership role you have. It could be a parent, it could be a teacher, it could be a principal, you could be a business leader, supervisor, you can be CEO, you can be a leader of a big NGO, you can be a government leader, minister or president. It does not matter. We all need to step up. The world has changed and a new normal has happened. It is critical that we realize that and we step up. One of the presidents, great president, once says, it's not enough just to look at the staircase and enjoy looking how high it goes. You've got to step up and go up the staircase. There are key elements that makes leaders to step up. The first one is to believe that you can make a difference. This means that you can make this world a little bit better than you found it. This was taught by one of my high school teachers as a young 17-year-old boy. And he said to me, Maurice, just make this world a little bit better than you found it. Please don't make it worse than you found it. That lesson has been with me for many decades. And therefore, I would like to urge all of us as leaders to believe deep in our belly and in our heart that we can make a difference. That leads us to also acknowledge that we need to be honest and open. Transparency is a very key element of leadership. It simply means do what you say you will do, and people will believe you. But if you say something and you don't do it, and you don't keep your promises, you are running into a difficult position because you would lose trust. The biggest challenge we're facing as leaders today is a trust deficit. This happens all the time when there's election time comes, where our leaders promise things they know deep in their heart that they will never be able to deliver. And therefore, deficit trust between the people and the leaders is the biggest gap that we have right now in our nation and in the continent. If we want to step up, we have to close that gap. If we want to step up, we need to keep learning all the time. Being a leader is something we need to do and learn and practice the leadership skills every day and read about it. I read so many books about leadership. I read articles about leadership. I watch videos about leadership because this is a subject that has consumed me because I know that leadership matters. Leadership makes or break every nation. Leadership makes or break entire organization. Leadership makes or break a church or any religious organization. Leadership makes or breaks a family. That's why I'm so passionate about this subject. We all have to learn. Now, when you're a leader, you need to accept that challenges make you great. It's not when things are rosy that you become great. It's when things are hard, are tough, are difficult. What made Nelson Mandela a great person is that he spent 27 years in jail in tough conditions. And that's what made him great. Therefore, when you face challenges, when you face difficulties, when you face insurmountable sometimes difficulties, know that they are aimed to make you stronger. Don't bottle up. Don't give up. Have courage and confidence. And be brave. It does not mean you will never be afraid. All of us sometimes are afraid. But you've got to face your fear. You've got to conquer it. There's a study that was made that asked people actually, what is it that they fear the most? The expectations that they probably fear a lion or a snake or fear an oncoming train or disaster. And many people were just afraid to stand in front and speak in front of many people. Now, as a leader, that's one fear you're going to have. Standing in front of people and speak with authenticity. Speak your heart. And you've got to do that. You cannot have a stage fright when you're a leader. And that's a fear that you need to conquer quickly. Now, when you're a leader, you also need to step up with projecting your dream of the future. You must have a dream. People follow leaders who've got dreams. If you don't have a dream, people are not going to follow you. A dream that is talking about the future possibilities, a better future, a future that is full of possibilities, and a shared future that will take people from A to B and change their living conditions, change their aspirations, help them reach their goals, help them reach their destiny. That's what a leader that is stepping up to the position is about to do. Now, let me give you a warning, particularly young leaders. When you're busy with all the dreams and the vision and implementing them, take care of your own body, your health. Listen to me. I can speak now with a little bit of maturity and wisdom because I'm matured. This is not a dry rehearsal. This body of yours is not a dry rehearsal. Look after it when you are young, because you'll need it when you are matured. Therefore, you need to eat healthy. Don't mess around with drugs. Don't abuse alcohol. Don't mess up with anything that will cause your health to be in a disaster. Because at the stage when you reach your 50s, right through to your 70s, where you've got experience and wisdom and you've got a highest leverage to be able to make the maximum impact, that's when we need you to be as healthy as you can, so that you can be able to impart what you have learned, but also use your experience and your wisdom to make this world a little bit better than you found it. But if your health fails you because you didn't look after it when you were young, be warned. What also a leader that is stepping up right now knows that you can't do it alone. I can never overemphasize this. In every talk I talk about, in every leadership talk, I emphasize this point. Being a leader is something you do it together, is a team effort. And it's not something that you do it alone. You've got to work with other people. You've got to make sure that you tap into the brains of other people. You tap into the wisdom of other people. You tap into their knowledge and experience. And more importantly, get the best out of them. That is what leadership is about. The next thing that you need to know about leadership is that you need to trust people. And they will trust you. You need to earn their trust before people will trust you. You know what trust is? It's a social glue that holds everything together. In an organization, in a society, when there's a social trust, the challenge we face in our nation today, there's just no social trust and social cohesion. And we need as leaders to continuously encourage that. Because once you are a leader that is trusted, you gain legitimacy. Whatever you say, people will follow. Because they know that you're not speaking for your own interest, but you're speaking for their interest. The most tempting thing for a leader is that to abuse the position of power and hoard things for your own benefit. And you'll lose trust as quickly as possible. Be a good role model. That's very important as a leader. You can't ask people to do something that you're not happy to do. It's okay to make mistakes, but learn from them. You can't tell people to do one thing and you do the opposite of what you've. The old story of a mother of a crab teaching her little babies, and she kept on telling, please walk straight, don't walk sideways. And the little babies kept on walking sideways, and she was screaming and screaming, please walk straight, not sideways. Until the little baby said, we're not doing what you tell us, we're doing what you are doing. If you need to step up as a leader, is to live your values. That's one thing you can never compromise. Particularly the value of integrity, the value of fairness, the value of passion, particularly commitment to the poor, the value of equality, the value of embracing diversity. These are the values we need to stand for. And also, as a leader that is stepping up, you need to lead from your heart. What do you mean by that? You need to have passion. You need to have passion for the cause and the mission that you're serving. People will follow you if they know that there's a cause that you're following, there's a mission that you're serving. People will appreciate that. People will love leaders that follow their mission in life. Because if you don't, what would people be following? And if you lead without passion and a vision and a mission, you will be just taking a walk, just as John Maxwell said. Because nobody's going to follow you. So I challenge you, particularly young leaders in business, in our society, step up. The world has changed. We need to reset the world. And therefore, it needs leaders that are going to step up into the new norm that we have now. We cannot look back now. We have to look forward and take advantage of the opportunities that will avail themselves once this world has completely changed after the crisis we've gone through. Thank you.